like want to mess with that.
Oh, for real. I mean, and the thing is like, okay, so we'll start now and we're live. I mean, I can still always edit it, so we're not technically live, but I try to like not have to edit as much. But that's the thing that Steve's car's probably like 1,500 all wheel. 1,500. I'm about to release the like a part 1 video of his car a little bit. It's still, they were still like tweaking some stuff, and it was super wet out, so we didn't do like a full feature yet. But yeah, I mean 1,500 all wheel with Motec and all that shit. It's like, dude, that's like an impossible car to beat on our streets.
Yeah, around here, that's probably the top 0.001%.
For real. And I mean, like, it's the things of like the guys with like the rear wheel drive cars. Yeah, it's hard to hook it on our roads because I mean, it's not like we have Texas roads or roads in like the East Coast, stuff like that, because we're on this shitty ass, like, I don't know if it's asphalt or what, but it's just can't hook nearly as much.
No, even like my car, even though my old tire setup is pretty small, I was running 235s all around. 830 wheel, I would spin all 4 on a lot of the roads around here.
For sure.
The NWN event was nice because there's so much rubber when you first take off, and all the guys laying it down. Yeah, there weren't really traction issues those events, but you go out into the streets, like, I can't even imagine having a rear wheel car above 700 wheel.
Yeah.
That's just, that's easy to break that loose. So.
Is that GoPro recording on your side?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Just wanted to make sure. Next thing I know, we're like all the way in, like, yeah, I wasn't even recording the whole time. Like, oh, fuck. Yeah, well, welcome back on the channel, North Pole Racing, sir. It's been, actually, I'm going to look up to see when I at least launched the video, because I looked this morning just to look, and the video's at 105,000 views now. So, which is interesting because, like, you didn't even have the shop or anything yet, and I know we, like, briefly talked about you wanting to maybe do something, or you're, like, on the fence about working on other people's cars, and then what made you decide to just do it, like, just jump?
My car got so much attention because that's a lot of power for the platform.
Oh, for sure.
And so a lot of people are asking questions. Like, people are like,
"Can you make me the mic?"
Yeah.
There, no worries.
People are asking me, "Can you make me this? Make me that?"
Yeah.
And then I just, it kind of took off from there. I was just mostly dabbling in exhaust systems, but now it's kind of all over the place. Anything from exhaust to headers to intercooler systems. Just whatever people want. And anything related to turbo systems.
I mean, you're wearing it right now. You're wearing the abbreviations, but what's the name for it?
So my company is Apex Performance and Fabrication. We're located up in North Marysville, small shop. Mostly working out on weekends. I'm an engineer during the week.
Which is crazy. I mean, that you're doing both. I mean, I do both too, but it's just like it's kind of cool, and you get a lot of pressure maybe from clients or...
Yeah, there's something about people in cars that they want it and they want it now. Like I just saw this meme the other day that was like about shipping.
It's you order car parts and you check it like 5 minutes later.
The shipping rate is like $99. It's like, I'm going to email you in 10 minutes and ask you for my tracking info shipping rate.
Oh yeah. There's like the Subaru one, or I'm friends with a guy on Facebook. Gosh, I can't remember his name. He's Josh or something like that. He's got the import. It's like they're like they're not a shipping company, but parts company, like one of those third party that you can order parts and all that stuff through. I don't know if they actually like manufacture anything themselves. Yeah, it was like $49.99. Like, I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna email you in 10 minutes for the tracking. And then the next one was like, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna call you, or I'm gonna something like that, or I need this right now, or my car's gonna die, or just so much random shit.
But yeah, like it's always like that, like people order a car part, like they order a clutch.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't even finished building their bottom end yet, but they want the clutch now. Like they just want that feeling opening the box. Instant gratification,
right? Do people order parts through you?
No, I don't deal with any of that. I just don't really have the time.
Yeah.
I a lot of people, like, another thing I get into is people can see my prices, and a lot of times they're like, "Oh my God, it's so expensive." And people need to understand that, I'm not in this to get rich.
Yeah.
That's one thing. It is mostly passion.
For sure.
I'm in the shop. And later we'll go over like some business stuff too. Some things that I learned that I think a lot of people should hear if they're starting their own business.
And that's just, some of it's just starting your own business in general, not even like car related. It's just, it can be car related too, obviously, but it just in general is like, I remember years ago, we're talking years ago. A lot of my friends will know this, that I got into I did some of the MLM network marketing stuff or whatever forever ago. And I remember I didn't ever really think I was my own business at the time. It was kind of contradictory, but they would always preach oh, you're a business owner, blah, blah. And then I started my own business for real. I was oh, this is way different. This is a whole different beast. This is I actually have to do a lot of work. It's your own product. But I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, you've been growing so much in just the last 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. I'm pretty much booked out almost every weekend.
Yeah.
And then the old lady's you need to take a break. I need us time.
I need a hard break.
Yeah. Then I try to take some time off and I drive myself crazy.
Yeah. You just gotta because you have a house out in Arlington or something,
yeah,
right?
So I have a house.
You gotta build a big ass shop at your house.
I was thinking about that, in the future, getting a different place and just building a huge shop there. Mm-hmm. But there's also this thing, I was working out of my home shop, which is a lot smaller than what I have now.
Yeah.
My home shop's 800 square feet. But there's this separation. That way, when I go home, I can just
turn
everything off.
Yeah.
Do what I want, because if I know if I have my shop at home, I'm going to live in that thing. And,
yeah. You just get bored or, I could be doing this. I could be doing that.
Yeah. And it's kind of that separate. I keep it somewhat separated because it keeps that passion for me because, I'm afraid if I do it too much, what happens if I don't enjoy it anymore?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, that's the fear of just doing something like that in general, right? Even that's probably a good reason you do it just kind of part-time or on the weekends is that way you're not killing yourself or dreading it and resenting it, Yeah.
And the other thing too, doing it weekends is I can be a little more selective with the jobs I take.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was taking a lot of jobs that's oh, these mid pipes don't fit the way I want. And it's well, how do you tell someone that,
they bought the shitty product or something?
They bought a crappy product and then it's my welding rates are 125 an hour.
Yeah.
And which is pretty typical. I mean, if you go to some high end shops, they're going to be upwards of 175, 200.
Yeah.
And so, these people, they bring in these cheap systems. This is a notorious thing for some of the older generation cars. And then it's really dominant in the Subarus.
Do you work on a lot of Subarus?
Yeah, no offense to Subaru owners, but there's so many of the younger generation own them now.
Yeah.
I can't really afford to take care of them.
Yeah.
And so I get a lot of these Subarus in with these really janky setups on them. And they're like, oh, can you fix this? And I was like, well, what about the 30 other problems?
Yeah.
And,
and it's one of those things you probably don't even feel comfortable taking it into your shop because then your name's on it.
Exactly.
And they don't want to fix everything else.
Yeah. And it's hard. Another thing that's hard is the Subaru community, there's a lot of really cheap parts. Mm-hmm. People buy $200 downpipes. And and the thing is, I can't even afford the materials for that cheap, especially with everything that's happened with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Prices of materials have gone through the roof.
Supply and demand is just insane because you just can't get anything. And the supply chains are just, struggling everywhere across the world. And so it's crazy to think that some car parts are just so cheap. You just got to imagine how the quality is yeah. And it makes me wonder, do these people even think about this when they're buying product, right?
Yeah. And, it's an example, I have a guy and this isn't even a Subaru. He buys a $300 exhaust system off eBay and brings it in. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't fit the way I want. And I was like, I can't make that fit for less than you bought the system for.
Yeah, I'd rather just make you a custom product at this point.
That's what I told him. I was like, listen, just get rid of that system. Let me make you something.
Yeah.
And it was when I first started. And
just return it or something,
Yeah, my prices are lower. It's by the time I fix that exhaust system and make it fit the way it's supposed to, and on top of what you already paid for it, and the time you spent installing it, it would have been cheaper just to come to me in the first place.
Yeah, that or actually buy the nicest product ahead of time and just have it installed.
Yeah.
And
I'm very straightforward with people. If someone comes to my shop, it's very, very uncommon that I'm going to be able to build them something cheaper than they could buy something off the internet.
Yeah.
And I work predominantly with German cars, a lot of Mercedes, BMWs, and Audis. And as people know, parts for those are a little more expensive.
Yeah.
So typically my price range is really competitive. There's a company called AWE, and my price points are really similar to theirs for the Audi community. But yeah, so anyways.
Do you make a lot of custom parts?
I do.
Is that a lot of the work too? Piping or headers or I know you built your whole car pretty much custom. So do a lot of people come to you I want that, or I saw, your car and I want to do something like that, or
I tend to be straightforward with people. It was overwhelming at first when my car first went mainstream in the video that you showed, I had way too many people saying, I want that. And I would like tell people, I was like, no, you don't. Like, there's a lot of work that went into this.
Oh yeah, and I think that video got a lot more traction than even like I anticipated at first. It kind of just like, oh shit, because I think a lot of people didn't expect a car like that to make the power, the setup, or everyone's always comparing you to the guy in like Germany or whatever, the rich dude.
Yeah,
and this is like
Hanover.
Yeah, and it's just like I think Michael knows who that is. Like, oh, you should check this guy out. I was like, bruh.
I've seen like 20 comments like, oh, dude, you should check out Philip Coss in Hanover. It's like, dude, like. I was like in diapers and knew about that guy.
Yeah, like I've been in this forever. Exactly. So
and it's like there's two totally different things. So over there, on the other side of the pond, rules are a lot more strict. Like he can't modify his car like I modified mine. For one, that's a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but over there they have these inspection companies, and if the car looks extremely modified, you're not driving it on the street.
Oh wow.
So his car looks almost completely OEM. If you look at the engine bay, you would never know it. I think he's like 1,200 horsepower.
Jeez, that's impressive for just like the whole like stock system, that, or at least to look like a stock system, right?
And it's crazy. The guy, he has a huge like following, and which I understand a lot of people like that platform. It was kind of just like a big stepping stone for Audi when it came to the performance world and released the platform, the B5.
Yeah.
So he's a huge like cultish following because he was like always the highest horsepower B5. And his car burnt to the ground. Something like a brake line or something came off and it caught on fire. Anyway, his whole car burnt to the ground. And it was in like a week, a GoFundMe was started of like 150 grand was raised for this guy.
Holy fuck. And wasn't he like already a rich guy?
He's already rich too. I was like, wait, have you seen his like Lamborghinis?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. It's just, people just wanted
to go burn my car down. Like, please help me. Like, bro, don't you have like 3 other cars? Like, I fucking need help, man.
A race car.
Yeah.
And it's like new car. It's like the entire chassis is carbon fiber, like one giant piece of carbon fiber. And I was like, well, I know where that 150 grand GoFundMe
for real, which is like insane. I mean, it's cool to see like people being able to like rally together for certain things, but it's like, guys, he's already rich. He's like, oh, fuck it, just burned to the ground. Like, not that big of a deal. I'll just build another one.
I was like, I already had it insured for 150. So.
Haggerty covered me.
I tried. Haggerty won't cover my S4 anymore.
Probably because too much power. Too custom.
Future advice for anybody going to Haggerty: don't tell them your car makes 800 plus wheel horsepower.
Yeah, because I think they do ask you, right?
Yes,
I know they don't do like, obviously they don't do nitrous cars, and I think like certain superchargers or certain setups they don't do, and so if you make that much power on that platform in particular, it's not like it's a big V8 or V10 where they're like, oh, it's just bolt-ons or something,
Yeah. So when I reached out to Haggerty to insure my car, basically they're asking all these questions. Everything's fine until I told them how much power it made. And they're like, well, no, we won't insure that to be on the street.
Wait a second, why?
But Haggerty's really cool about the track though. That's totally different. If you want to insure your car for the track, I mean, it's pretty much, you'd have a full tube chassis, 3,000 horsepower car. They'll insure it.
Oh, wow.
And it's relatively cheap. I think it's like $40 a month for track insurance. So if you're someone that tracks avidly, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. I mean, because they're going to make they're going to do good on that because most people obviously aren't going to wreck it in that one offset chance that something happens, but it's still obviously good to be covered because some of these cars are just insane, and I wonder if that's like that has to be an actual track, or like what if you take it to like the Northwest Nights events, does that cover too?
Yeah, so it would be covered in Northwest Nights. It's pretty much anything off public roads.
Oh, okay. Any sanctioned events or something like that.
Yeah, and you can even contact them like right now. My car is under storage insurance, so it's like $10 a month. So if anything was to happen to my car while it's in storage, it's under declared value.
Do you guys have to submit documents or receipts and all that for your declared value, or just pick whatever you want?
Nope. So you just basically pick a rate. Obviously, like if you have a Subaru WRX and you claim the declared value is 150, they're
so like, get fucked.
And like you just got to be straight and be honest with them. They're a good company to work with. I declared the value of my car $40,000.
Yeah,
because if I had $40,000, I could rebuild the car
for sure. Find another chassis or just rebuild it. And I mean, nice part is obviously you do a lot of labor yourself, but that billet block you got coming's not cheap, I'm sure.
No, so that's $8,500. Talk about like super inconvenient time. So like, I had this money put away for the bill block, and I got in a snowboarding accident. I think you may have seen it.
Oh, yeah. And you like disconnected your pec or something like that?
Yeah, so I actually tore my pec major tendon right off my humerus. So right now I have 3 pins right here that are holding my tendon to my bone.
You ain't benching anytime soon.
6 months. I can't even do a push-up.
Is that just killing you?
Yeah, and I'm a little kind of, a little handicapped right now in the shop.
Yeah, for sure.
I got my
Limited
dad's
rotation and all that stuff,
Yeah, I can't really do anything overhead, which, when you're building exhaust systems, it's kind of not a good thing.
Yeah.
But, my dad's been coming in and helping me when I need
That's
it.
good.
The lighter work I've been taking care of. The first month, I kind of took it easy and pushed some appointments back and moved some stuff around. And all my clients were pretty cool about it. And it's like, unless they couldn't reschedule, then I had my dad come in. But yeah, no, that was definitely a setback. But anyways, it's like, thank God for health insurance, right? Another reason I'm glad I don't
for real. It's still your full-time job. Yeah.
Full-time job. So,
that's expensive in itself is like your full-time insurance,
Just my operation alone was $40,000.
Yeah. It's insane, man.
Yeah. And it gets up there. So by the time I'm done physical therapy and everything, I'm going to be like $75,000 out. But, insurance, it's controversial, but I pay $5,000 out of pocket max, so that's all I'm going to pay. So I got that out of the way, and I was like, all I could think about is I'm sitting at home.
This is my bill of block,
and in the sling, and I'm like, all the car parts I could have bought.
Yeah, right. You're just like, I'm never going snowboarding again.
But luckily, I had other money put away. So I have like this. I call it my midlife crisis car account. And it's just something. It's like $200 a week that it takes out of my account and it puts it away. So when I turn in my mid 30s, I want to buy a Dodge Viper.
Oh, there you go.
I want an ACR.
Yeah.
So
go get a Calvo Viper.
Yeah. So it's kind of like my midlife crisis fund. Anyway, so I just pulled some money out of that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we're gonna, it's for cars, so screw it.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you got all that shop kind of stuff going on too. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of money going out, but you have money coming in too at the same time, because you're always so busy.
So that's, we'll get into that when we're talking business. But yeah, no, there's a lot of money going back into the shop. I just spent like $1,000 the other day buying some tools, like cutting jigs.
Yep.
You need some special stuff to cut titanium. Because you can't titanium, despite what everybody thinks, it's not indestructible. It's actually incredibly fragile. So most titanium systems come either 1 millimeter wall or 1.2 millimeter wall.
Yeah.
Which is really thin, but aluminum is very hard, but it has a really high fracture rate, so it shatters.
Yeah.
Imagine dropping something like lead, how it breaks and shatters into pieces.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. So when you put titanium in vices, it's so thin and hard that the teeth like to grab it on the bandsaw. So you get a special tool, like a jig, that clamps around the titanium and holds it a special way so that it can't move and everything. And then it also doesn't deform the pipe.
Yeah.
So, I bought some stuff like that. Now that I'm doing more titanium systems, and it's really cool. So actually, yeah.
You can hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Okay, cool.
Recently just got executive with Tycon Industries / Stainless Pros.
Oh, nice.
So
I feel when I came into your shop, it was nice and empty at first, but I was like, this is gonna dwindle down fast. The space, especially because putting in the dyno, and I think you were doing an engine dyno too, weren't you?
So there's an engine dyno room in there. It's a Superflow engine dyno.
Is that all done and set up?
No, so the engine dynos, they're a big process.
Yeah.
You have fans installed, cooling system.
But it seems like the second part is now you're thinking about, or you're moving, right? So you have to pick up and move all that.
It's not super official yet. I did sign some paperwork.
Yeah.
Luckily, I just didn't put my chassis dyno in the ground.
Yeah.
So, it's still in boxes. I haven't even unpacked it.
Okay.
So, we just quickly ran out of space. I'm in a 1,200 square foot space now, and I'm like, I need an extra bay. So just recently signed paperwork for an 1,800 square foot space. So hopefully I get that. I think I just got to do a few things. One thing I've been running into with these is having a new business is places like to check your business credit.
Yeah.
And my business is brand new. I don't have any business credit.
Yeah.
So it's an arm, my personal credit score is awesome.
Well, that's the thing too, is because I've ran the same things. If I want gear, it's why don't you just run my personal credit? It's well, we need your business income. And it's fuck. You know what I mean? It's I just started.
Yeah. It's I was the only reason my business is going is I'm an engineer funneling money into it. So,
right. Yeah. It's who's funding it? I am in my other job.
Yeah.
Just run that credit.
Yeah. And, that's another thing, getting new into the business. I'm sure you know about being able to claim everything on your taxes.
Yeah.
So like I filed my engineering job and my shop together. And, having spent so much money on equipment, all of that gets, broken down back into my taxes. So you get quite a bit back.
Especially for like, I don't know if you're like keeping track of all your income money too, or if it's like you can do it on the side, or it's kind of just like, it can get tricky, and it's almost like you want to hire somebody else to just like, here's all the paperwork, here's everything, just tell me what I owe or don't owe or whatever,
So the way I did it is, you can get kind of tricky, and last thing anybody wants is to get audited.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you want to make sure you do it right, because I'm trying to deal with all that, trying to get my shit repoed or anything like that.
So, I just paid like $300 and H&R Block took care of it.
Nice.
I just gave them Excel files of all my purchases, all my equipment.
Are you using like QuickBooks or something, or like what accounting system?
I just literally broke it down in Excel.
Oh yeah, yourself just like documented like the name and the price and
everything.
All that stuff.
Yeah, and I have the receipts if push comes to shove.
Yeah,
it's just easier for them at H&R Block with the Excel file, because then they can just crunch it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so give them the Excel file and everything. This is what I've spent, and and even my lease on my shop that gets put in, everything, all the equipment.
Yeah,
and even like my car now is actually owned by my company, my Audi.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
So even my bill at block counts as a company.
Tax write-off.
It's a tax
and like
write-off.
that's the thing too, is I've thought about doing like my cars and stuff. So obviously I have my equipment under everything, but my biggest fear is like, and like I never like actually have had any issues, but like if you get sued, like they could like, they obviously can only go after your business. They can't go after your personal stuff. But it's like if I put my car under my business, you know what I mean? It's just like I get anxious or like a paranoid of stuff like that, even though it's like knock on wood, never gonna happen, right? Yeah. It's just like fuck, I don't want to take my car. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll just pay them.
Especially you doing ride-alongs in these high horsepower cars.
Yeah.
Like, what if someone says, well, he told me to floor it,
Yeah, it's just like, well, he said it wasn't going to do that. And that's why I got waivers and everything like that. And you just sign right here. Yeah. But at the same time, and a lot of like the ride-alongs, it's more about the acceleration than anything. Like I don't care to go crazy fast, right? Because anything obviously can happen, but it's more about the reaction of the G-forces of acceleration, right? Like even me riding in these fast cars, me riding at like 1400 plus wheel, it's like, holy shit, like I'm gonna start filming my own reaction. Like if I die, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm the same way. When we were at NWN and I started letting off at some of the runs at the quarter instead of the third, because I was hitting like 160 in the third, and
the cars are getting faster, man. So
I locked those brakes up once, and I was like, went right past the exit all the way down to the end of the track.
Did you really?
Like, yeah.
Oh man.
It was I was racing this 700 wheel horsepower Evo.
So that must have been butt puckering.
Yeah, and my buddy Jason, I got it on GoPro. My buddy Jason, he's oh shit, and you can see him in I have the GoPro mounted up here. On the sunroof,
like panicking,
and you just see him tense up.
Well, it's always worse when like the driver starts panicking or like going, you're like, what do you mean, And I mean, did you start panicking when like you realized the brakes were locking up?
No, I remain pretty calm in those kind of situations. I'm not one to worry or panic or anything. Yeah. Like I knew what was happening. And and
it helps that your car like the back of your hand, right? You know what it feels like, what happens when something's going wrong or not right, and you're familiar with it.
So I let off the brakes a little bit and just downshifted, let the engine kind of slow it down a little bit. And I had plenty of runway left, so it wasn't a big deal. I just missed the turn.
Through the fence.
I forget his name, the guy at the 1,000 wheel horsepower Challenger I raced, the Hellcat. He's like, I miss that exit every time. I just go right back. I don't even try and make it.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of those cars like my CTSV, and they just weigh a lot, so he's got to slow down those big ass boats. It's a beast.
It's crazy to think. I'm even thinking about like putting a parachute on the car. Like I started going to like half mile events or something.
Oh yeah,
with the new setup, which is I'm aiming for 1100 wheel. That's the first. The setup should be capable of 1400.
And do you want to do like half mile events, like travel and stuff like that?
Some half mile events. I think it'd be kind of a goal to go down to like Texas.
Yeah. And I'm going to the no-fly zone in a couple of weeks in Arizona, and that'll be I don't know if it's a half mile or if it's just a 1/3, but it's cool to check out. And obviously, like Arizona, just in the south, like you can race like fucking every day. The weather's just so nice. Where here we get it like 3 months out of the year, it seems like, which kind of sucks. But I mean, for you got all-wheel drive, man. You can drive it around all the time. You're just like do you keep it on radials or?
So I got a new setup. I was kind of bummed out. So to get the tires I wanted on radials, I had to drop down to 17-inch wheels, and because the sidewall requirements are a little different on the slick style.
Oh
tires.
yeah.
And so I'm running the R888Rs.
Oh, okay, triple eights or whatever. Yeah.
And I couldn't get them for my 18-inch wheels, so I dropped down to 17s. But then the brake kit that I got won't fit on the 17-inch wheels. So I had to do something. So I had to downsize the brakes a little bit. They're still better than OEM. And, that was one of the things I was excited about is the new brakes. And because
were they OEM at the event when they locked up?
They were OEM at the event. And I saw this meme that's like SpongeBob and Patrick. And when your friend has turbos, injectors, clutch upgraded, but stock brakes.
Yeah.
Ask you to get in, and he has the coffin open. I got tagged in that like 80 times.
You're just like, damn, maybe I should do something about these brakes.
Yeah. So I actually had bought some right after the event, and it's just about getting them in. But then I had to buy a different set. So they're called 17Zs. They're off another Audi chassis.
And has the car been broken since that event?
No, so...
Or did you have it back up? I mean, because, like, on the video, people are like, oh, now the car's motor's broken. It's like, dude, our motors have all been broken at least multiple times.
Yeah, no, it happens. So I've cracked 2 blocks and probably like 3,000 miles on my car. It's just, that's why I went to a build block.
What's the name of the game, too, especially when you're pushing that much power in a smaller motor?
Yeah, so these motors are notorious for torque onset is killing them. And the main... webbing cracks in the block, and it's the first time I did it, I didn't know what happened, tore the motor apart, and it's like, okay, I guess I had a cracked block. Second time it happened, I was like, I knew I cracked the block. So the motor was definitely tired at the event. We were getting a lot of blow by, so the car was pushing a lot of oil out of the valve covers into the catch can. So, and I'm not sure where it came from, where people thought I blew my motor at the event. The only reason I wasn't there Monday for the Labor Day weekend is that's when I was moving into my shop was Monday. I had to be there, sign paperwork and everything. And the car did great at the event. Didn't have any issues. It was really hot that day.
Yeah.
So, my car was like consistently hitting like a 5.4, 60 to 130. That event of the day, it was over 6 seconds every run.
Which is crazy because like we normally don't get that temperature, and it was hot that day. I remember it was like cooking, and I was like, I ran 90s. My car a couple times. I was like, fuck this, dude.
Yeah. My IATs were like 130. I was like, okay, well, let's just dial the boost back before something gets too hot.
Yeah, let's just have fun instead of trying to full send in this temperature,
But I know a lot of people were having that issue. There was a guy in, he had that sky blue McLaren that was there. And I asked him if he wanted to run. He's like, nah, man. He's like, my 60 to 130 is trash right now. It's way too hot. Yeah. And so everybody was having that issue that day. But so when I did crack my block, funny story. So I had this guy named Joey. He was at my shop, and I was working on his B5 doing some exhaust work on it, and he was there. And so I took him for a ride, and I was like, anybody that owns a B5 wants to ride mine. So I took him for a ride, and the wastegate line came off.
Oh shit!
And I remember I told him, it's like, yeah, so this is just wastegate pressure, and I had no idea how it came off. And the car just breaks all 4 loose. And Joey's like, there's no way that's wastegate pressure. And
you're just like,
what's wrong with the boost control? Something's all right.
Because you know the difference of the feeling, right, between wastegate. You're like, that definitely was not wastegate.
And so anyways, we do a couple more pulls, and this thing's boosting to like 48 PSI.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, God damn. It's like, so we do this one pull, and I roll into it from third, and it just breaks all 4 tires loose from third gear, just rolling into it. And I can just imagine that torque was like, had to have been like 800 plus foot-pounds.
Easily.
So anyways, so that was the end of that block.
Was that like, when was that? Like just in the wintertime or?
Yeah. So that would have been probably, I would guess,
in the fall or something.
October, November time. So
about the same time I broke my car at the track.
Yeah.
Mine has just been sitting too.
Yeah, and it's like it wasn't a big deal with the release of the build block coming out. I don't really care. I mean, yeah, it sucks. You got to rebuild your motor, and
it's just a pain in the ass of pulling it all back out and all shit like that. Can't drive it.
I get a lot of guys that are like, oh, you're dumb, you broke your motor again. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I like to party. I like to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to build a car and turn it down.
For real. Especially like I remember when we went to the dyno when you first like were putting it on the dyno.
I was like, crank it up more.
Yeah. Well, at first you're like, I'll be happy with 700. Should we turn it up more? How about some more? Yeah. Oh shit, we're over 800. Let's go.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something about just like, I can't just dial things back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like when I'm out on the street, obviously I'm not blaring 40 PSI.
Yeah.
Smoking all 4, just to go to the grocery store.
What was wastegate pressure? Like what should it have been?
So 22 PSI.
Oh, okay. And so you have the boost, like you can obviously see it, like it's obviously going way higher than that. And you're like, well, what the,
Yeah. Wastegate pressure doesn't break tires loose.
So you decided to just keep on sending it though, huh?
Yeah. I was like, screw it. I don't care. Let's take Joey for a ride.
You're just like, well, hold the first time. So we're just going to keep on going. Should have put the draggy on, see what it ran at 48 PSI.
Yeah. So my best draggy, I got a 5.2, but it was unverified because the slope.
Oh yeah.
And it happens, but I don't think it'd make that big of a difference.
I mean, most of us don't care. It depends on the slope, but a lot of us, like, there's even one of our spots that we race is kind of like a slope and you won't get it verified. And it's like where we race, you know? So it's like most of them don't care, especially if it's at our spot, but to do it on the actual leaderboards, I guess, is like when it's got to be kind of more technical. But still, 5.2 is fucking fast, man. Like, do you want to get into the 4s? Yeah,
so I think the next setup is getting into the 4s. So we'll talk a little bit about the setup. So
what's different?
So some of the guys in my community, I'm like, oh my God, he's really doing that kind of thing. So I've been pretty quiet about it. And, I'm finishing up some of the fab work for it, but it's actually a triple turbo compound setup.
Oh, damn.
So
okay.
It's a really complicated way to do things, but I kind of nerded out on some engineering math and was looking at pressure ratios of the turbos and chose like what I thought was a great combination.
It's kind of like an unfair advantage you have being an engineer.
Yeah, crunching numbers, but numbers don't always add up. Like they add up, but they don't show the results that they should.
Especially in like cars, right? There's a lot of variables.
So it's similar to my old setup. It's the twin GTX 2860s, but they feed into a G42 1450, which is a pretty big size turbo.
Yeah.
Produced by Garrett. It's one of their new G series. And
are you going to keep it a stick car?
Still a stick car. I think next season, the big goal is to swap over to a dog box next year. That's another $8,000 on the transmission. So I'm just going to I've already spent so much money on the car.
This is your surgery and all that stuff too,
And just kind of take it easy and just enjoy it. And then I try not to bite off more than I can chew at one time, especially because, I got to get this car ready for the season. So the last thing I want to do is be, because everybody knows when they build a car, there's all these little expenses that add up really fast as you're closing in. So I'm kind of keeping my eyes open for that.
And you got to make sure, you got to figure out if it works, because like you said, the numbers may not always add up or it doesn't always add up with the car, but it's a great design, but you got is it going to work, or what other maybe little things that I miss, or cooling or whatever it may be. Like I know you had where you had the turbos before, like where are you putting this third turbo?
So it's interesting. So the turbos are similar like they were before on the sides of the motor. It's a V6 setup. But then now the third turbo is where everybody puts their single turbos for these cars. It's like a Duramax setup.
Oh, okay.
So basically what happens is the exhaust from the small turbos feed around the back of the motor and come up, and it sits right on the back of the motor behind the intake manifold.
Okay.
And feeds there. And then from there, the intercooler piping, it gets all sorts of crazy.
And this is going to be the first one. Has anybody done this before?
There is actually a compound turbo, but it is an extremely custom car. It's by a company called UNT and Liaison. And they're over, and I want to say, what is that country? Somewhere over in Europe.
Okay.
But Estonia. And I don't know what it is about those guys in Estonia, but they do the wildest shit. It's like, we built this $1,800 or 18 horsepower Honda Prelude in our garage. That's the kind of stuff they do in Estonia.
So is that where you got the motivation to do this, or do you just want to do something different?
So I'd always been really fascinated. There's this guy I follow on Instagram called Mad Scientist, and he has a compound turbo S2000 that's like the 6 seconds.
Jesus.
And so, fast car, and just the engineering behind it and the pressure ratios, dealing with all that. I just found it really interesting. It's a way that you can still have good spool, and and then also a lot of power. So my idea right now with 1100 horsepower, that number comes out of sticking in the pressure ratio zones where all 3 turbos are the most efficient. So the idea is you're not pushing any of the turbos very hard.
Yeah.
And that's where they're getting, the most bang for your buck for PSI. So that's hopefully the idea. The plumbing's a little crazy, and it's going to take definitely going to take some diddling around with the tuning. Because right now, so the external wastegates off the small turbos, there's 4 wastegates on the setup. You have the small wastegates for bypassing the small turbos, and you have 2 larger wastegates on the up pipes to the big turbo that bypass that one. And so your boost controls the big turbo, so that's what's hooked up to the ECU. And then you have to adjust the springs in the small turbo wastegates, so they open at a set pressure.
Okay.
So their magic zone on the numbers chart is 25 PSI, and so they'll have springs in them to open at 25 PSI.
Yeah.
Ideally, they'll be bypassed enough that they'll kind of shut off somewhat when the big turbo kicks in. But we'll see. I mean, it's something different. I enjoy doing crazy things. And
is that does that work? Like, are you tuning on the stock ECU or like a whole different program? Like, what did you have before, I guess?
I have a ECU called Max ECU. It's really popular over in Europe. And
obviously that's a big question that a lot of people ask too on your last video.
I get that a lot. A lot of people ask me what ECU I'm running. Standalones aren't a super popular option on the platform because the OEM ECU is capable, for most setups. For what I wanted to do, it just didn't really make any sense.
Did you have the Max ECU when we did the video last time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's what you pretty much always ran after OEM.
Ironically, I was actually the first person in the country to run that standalone in the B5 S4.
Oh, wow.
The race version. It's funny how I ordered it to this guy named Blake, and a super nice guy. He's down in California, Blake Beetle, and so I ordered it through him, and it was the old version. And then he's like, "Oh, there's an issue. I guess they don't have that anymore. There's this new version out." And I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" And it's a plug and play kit for my car, the brand new race version. And I was like, "Oh, heck yeah!" And he's like, "Well, you already paid, so you can just have it at the price of the old version."
There you go.
So I got super lucky at that. But yeah, so I've been running that ECU for 3 years now in that car, and so I know it super well. I've dabbled in several different other standalones, anything Motec, Haltech, MS3.
Because you're tuning it yourself, obviously, still, right?
Yeah, I'm tuning it myself. But yeah, no, it's just fun. I enjoy that aspect of it, you know. And
well, I know with Motec and a couple of those systems, they help a lot with wheel spin and things like that. It'll automatically correct it if something starts spinning. Does the Max ECU do that too?
Yeah. So I have wheel speed sensors, the OEM sensors that came with the car. Pretty much any car that has traction control or ABS or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's through a wheel speed sensor.
Okay. So does it cut throttle or how does it reconnect to the traction or whatever, how does it?
Obviously, with an all-wheel drive car, it's sensing all 4 wheels spinning at the same speed.
Yeah.
So, when one wheel spins faster than the others, those sensors are going to pick that up, and the ECU is going to say, okay, we have wheel spin, and it's going to cut ignition.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see the Calvon car, some of them Dodge Vipers, they're doing rear-wheel drive. If you listen to them when they take off, the half-mile events, at first when they take off, they're but it's not two-step or anti-leg or anything. That's the traction control cutting ignition.
Oh, interesting.
So, and that's the same thing my setup does. I don't really use it too much. I play with it on the street. I can turn it on when I'm at track events. I typically leave it off.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, maybe if you start turning it up, do you maybe put it on then, or turn it on? You start turning the car up.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the environment.
In the road, probably.
If you're at a track and you got radials on, you're not going to need it.
Yeah.
If you're doing some autocross events or something like that, that'd be a good time to have it. That could save you in a turn.
Oh, for sure.
If you
your car's not quite ready for autocross.
No,
designed
it
for
is not a cross car.
It's kicking the boost and you'd fucking go right through all the codes. Shit.
Yeah, no. But it has its place. It's a really fun feature to play with.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about standalones. There's so many features, and the standalone that I use, the firmware can be updated any time. So they can add and take features away. There's some of my favorite features. I love rolling launch control, which, as you know, is a very fun thing to have.
Oh, for sure.
It comes with anti-lag and everything. And all that good stuff. So
you just let go of that button and just fucking sends it.
Mine's set up on my horn, so I just like grab a hold and brace for brace for launch.
Yeah, especially because so in an Audi, it's not like 50-50 front rear wheel drive and front wheel drive, is it?
So
what's the ratio?
Typical split is 60-40 being front biased. I have a modded differential, so mine's more rear biased, which actually now with what I'm doing, I'm thinking about changing and making it back to the original split because they are a little nose heavy of a car, and the car's built for doing nothing but going in a straight line really fast.
Because I think GTR's like 30-70 or something, aren't they? Like front, they're more rear than they are front, I think.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know a lot about the GTR.
But maybe that's just because the weight distribution and everything too compared to the Audi is.
Yeah, they have a much better weight distribution.
Yeah. Because can you like disconnect it and do like a rear wheel drive burnout in your car?
No, I can convert the car to rear wheel drive, but that'll just snap the rear axles.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's what GTRs do. Like they like push a button, it like disconnects it. I guess I've seen it at the track, and they just do rear wheel drive burnouts, and then they reconnect it.
The new Audi RS3s do that. They disconnect the rear and do front wheel drive burnouts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, oh shit, I kicked the GoPro. Oh, we're fine. Some of those Audis, man, are really nice. Like the one dude fucking burned down his, unfortunately, in Colorado or whatever, the RS3.
Yeah, I saw that.
And just like, and that car was fast too. That was all like garage built and stuff like that from what I had seen. And that car was fast. I think it made like 1100 or something.
Yeah.
Nitrous and turbo. And
those RS3s are already notoriously fast. I mean, people that put them into the high nines on basically bolt-ons.
Well, I know our buddy Kyle's coming to bring his to you soon, isn't he?
Yeah, Kyle's going to bring his to me. He bought an intercooler and a whole turbo kit and everything from Silly Dart Motorsports.
Because he wants to run nines, I think is his goal.
Yeah, he should be able to hit nines with his setup. I mean, that car will carry itself to nines. Those transmissions are phenomenal.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like even stock, like they can do, like they hold it and everything too?
Yeah. I know iRoz Motorsports is like the big name. Some of you may follow Ken Block in his Race the World series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he like takes the unicorn and races against random cars.
Yeah. So I saw he raced that Audi, that other one, that S4 or something, wasn't it? Or was it an RS3?
There's RS3 on there. So that's the world's fastest RS3. I think it's sevens now.
Yeah, shit, it is fast for sure. I actually thought he was going to beat the Hoonigan.
So it was funny because like I watched the videos. I'm not like Audi biased, but I was like, Ken Block is definitely leaving way too early.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I think that Audi should have beat that car. I think Hank was also probably tuning it back.
Oh yeah, and I mean that road is dusty and it doesn't look. I mean they have so much data and info on the road, like the crew, the Hoonigan crew.
Yeah.
So they kind of know how it's going to react and what's going to happen. I mean that car's obviously fast.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I would not race the Hoonicorn, never.
Well, it's funny because like we were doing the video on Steve's GTR and we were like, oh, we should call him out, and I was like, well, you let me know when you're ready, man. We can make a video on that and call him out, but I think it's one of those things where, from what I've seen, is it doesn't seem like they race cars that can actually beat them. That Audi is probably the closest one, but a lot of them, I even just look at the title, I'm like, dude, that like doesn't even seem fair. Like the races, I mean,
the Hoonicorn's got a way under 3,000.
Yeah, and it's 1,400 horsepower. They say
unlimited budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I don't know if you heard, but Ken Block actually is no longer with Ford.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where the channel goes and
if they keep that car.
So no, he's actually.
Or was it Ford's car or something?
It was Ford's car. So Ken Block's just gonna be able to do whatever he wants, drive whatever chassis he wants. So I mean, it's interesting to see what those mad scientists come up with. Their infinite budgets.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, infinite resources and everything. Because I mean, I didn't even look into this. I think it was a twin turbo LS of some sort. I think. I don't know exactly what motor was in the car, but the thing was fast. Plus all-wheel drive. Plus, was it like a dog box or something in it? It's just insane.
A sequential dog box. That's goals right there. That's what I really want for my Audi.
Yeah, I mean, has anybody done that with the Audis? Like, is that common or?
They are. There's a few people with dog boxes. There's the stock, H pattern shifter.
Oh yeah.
Which makes a world difference too. But you go overseas across the pond. Stuff's a lot more modified over there, and there's a lot more options. Companies have the sequential gearbox setups. A
lot more probably just like resources or connections to be able to get stuff like that for German cars too.
Yeah, the car I mentioned earlier, the UNT, they have that compound setup. I think they made something like 1,600 wheel horsepower.
And they're using a dog box then or something too?
Yeah, so they have an air shifter.
Oh, wow.
So they have a dog box, straight cut gear set up on CO2. So they have a paddle. It just to the gear. So that car should be wicked fast.
Goals there too.
To see.
But then I wonder if you guys get limited on like obviously the size of tire you can put under each, you know, it starts to really limit you, even if it is all wheel drive, you know.
Yeah, I was like trying to look into that and see what's the biggest I can run because I don't want to roll my fenders or go wide body. It's expensive and
plus it's just not the look that you really want. I mean, your car still looks stock-ish, right? Just cruising down the road, like unless they really know their cars, they're not really gonna know. You don't go too crazy. Heck, man, you don't even have your windows tinted. It seems like it's like a fishbowl still in there.
Yeah, no, I kind of like the incognito. Even my car is quiet.
Yeah,
you know, I don't like super loud cars when I'm riding in them. I had hood exit exhaust for a while and I was like, I can't do this. So I was like, I'm too old for this.
Dude, you're not even 30 yet.
I know.
That's too hood rat for me.
Yeah. So, you know, ended up doing like a dual muffler system and my car was like fairly quiet. Even in all my race videos for the NWN event, you can't even hear my car. Like even in my GoPro in my car, all you can hear is the car next to me.
Yeah. I mean, the video we first did probably just ruined all the grudge racing chances that you had. It's like, hey man, I just want to run my little Audi over there. Or...
Well, I did, you know, did race that twin turbo R8 at the event.
Okay,
and, you know, it's kind of weird because they wrote, you know, 1XXX on their car, like saying that they're over 1,000 horsepower. And when I ended up talking to her, she's like, oh yeah, no, it's too hot. We got the car way turned down. And I was like, what's turned down? She's like, well, 600 wheel. And I was like, oh God, this is going to murder this car.
It's like, just kidding. Let's not race. Let's do this.
And then we raced and she was super cool, super nice chick. And honestly probably raced more than anybody there that day. Yeah,
because I think her partner somebody has like a track hawk or something. And like they were just they're hot lapping it, man. They were just going like I was like, shit, get it. Yeah. And get your money's worth, you know? But so it was I thought it was a stock Audi R8, but it's modded. No,
so it's a V10 twin turbo.
Oh shit, okay. I wonder who built it.
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask her, but that car is definitely capable of 1,000 wheel horsepower plus. You don't put twin turbos on the V10s and not have that. I mean,
do the V10s hold that stock, or is it a built motor? Probably
it's a stock motor.
Jeez,
you know, like the Underground Racing and GP Motorsports, they're always doing those V10 twin turbos.
Oh yeah.
Same motor.
Okay.
So the Audi R8 and the Lamborghinis, they share a motor. A lot of people don't know they're basically the same car.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Group owns Audi and
they own everything at this point. Yeah.
You go to the engine block, it's stamped Volkswagen.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably really wanted that challenge of it being if it was cranked up to over 1,000, you know, it would have been a good run.
I did. I really wanted to you know, I'm not super into grudges or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cool to be humbled. That's why I wanted to race Steve. I wanted to see how much faster is I think he was like 1,100 wheel at the time.
Yeah, it was like between 1,100 and 1,200.
And so I wanted to race him, but he wanted to put money on it. And I was like, well, no, I just should I just give you the money now or later?
So am I basically just paying to race you?
Yeah. So,
but it's kind of cool because obviously your car's fast, and so it's always weird to see a car that's faster than you, right? Because even driving my car, at the 800 wheel with no nitrous, it's like, God, this feels fucking wicked fast. And I race somebody and they fucking smoke me. I'm just like, well, I'm slow. I just need to go fucking mod this car some more, you know? Yeah.
And one of the things I do notice at the NWN events is that, you know, people, they tend to not want to race people that might be faster than them. You know, I called out quite a few people there, and it's like, you know, hey, you want to race? And I'm not like calling out, it's like talking smack or anything. I just want to run running down the strip.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just like, no.
Which is weird. I mean, maybe it has to do with a lot of more social media stuff now, like people posting every race or whatever. But that's how I am. It's funny because so it was the first event I took the CTS V2, right? Really raced it or did anything with it. And I remember going just down. I didn't go to tech, but I was going down just to get into the line, right? And so my buddy, I think it was my buddy Caesar, he has the red Evo X, and he's like, "Hey man, run that the gray Evo." I think the guy's name was Kyle or something, right? And the dude has this car's got a parachute on it.
Wait, is it the Gingineering one?
Yeah.
That's the Evo I raced.
Okay, yeah. So and I just looked at my buddy. He was like, "That car's gonna fucking murder me, man!" Are you kidding me? I don't even. And this is the time I was I hadn't been on a dyno. I was like, I don't know what my car makes. I don't know where I'm at. But I was like, fuck it. I'll get what I was doing. I was logging my first pass, right? I was like, I just need data, so I'll just go run, right? And we're in line. We go. And I know like that when they rolled us, I think we were doing like a 40 or 50 roll. And I was just focusing on my race. Like I was just going to race, right? I was get some data, do what I'm going to do. And I might have jumped. I think I probably jumped like a little bit, but then there's videos like I'm like walking away and he's not catching me. And I was like, I get to the end, I was like, did I win? I was like, I'm sitting there like, I'm waiting for him to pass me, right? I'm just like, oh shit, the car's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And I talked to him, and I guess it wasn't like obviously turned up, but the car had ran 9s before. But he, similar like your car, like so many different settings, right? Like you can make it as fast as you want.
Yeah, he was super nice. I went and talked to him after the race, and he was like, yeah, we don't really know what power it's at right now.
Yeah.
It was a brand new setup. They had never raced before.
Yeah, and he was doing it because I think it was one of the last events he was doing with the car or something like that. Because I saw it up for sale just like a few months ago or late last year.
But yeah, that was a wicked built car. I remember I was like, this guy's going to want to race me. I mean, look at my car. Look at him.
Yeah,
like, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, this is going to smack this guy down the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because he definitely has a weight advantage, too. I talked to him.
Yeah, especially over my car.
Yeah, under 3,000.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, 3,700 wheels, what he marked at. I think he's probably running less than that at the event.
Yeah, I think,
without being on a dyno, you don't really know.
Yeah, I think he mentioned around that event, he was probably around like 750-ish. But I mean, my car, like on a... So my car made more, or makes more than it did make more. It blew up, but it made 760, I think, with the converter unlocked, or yeah. So we didn't lock it. I mean, and it was on a radial. So like the car, from what people told me, I'm not an expert in this, but it probably was like a little over 800 boost only. Because it was on a radial. There's a lot of disadvantages to make the power lower on the dyno that I wasn't even thinking about. I didn't change the tune or anything. I just kind of left it. But it was also pretty hot in the timing, which cracked the cylinder wall, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I mean, next time, do a little different. I'm doing a dart block for my car. So similar to you, is like I'm taking my time. I'm buying, the very nice quality stuff. And just when it put it together, hopefully by Bremerton. I was going to try to do the track rental, but I mean, the drag strip's fun, but for me, it's not like my funnest thing. Like it's cool. I want to get a single digit slip just to have the slip and then never do it again.
Yeah. I get skeptical about going to the drag strip because I went once with my car and down in Pacific, and first pass, it was a 10.9, and they're like, we're going to kick you off the track. You don't have a cage in your car.
Yeah.
And I had nothing in there. And then second, I was running a set of Toyota, what was it? One of the Proxies, but it's just a summer tire. Wasn't one of the R8 series. Anyways, but I got really bad wheel hop.
Oh.
And so my second run, we took some air out of the tires and upped the launch control a little bit, up to 500 RPMs, and just instantly snapped a CV joint. I was like, done. And if you snap one CV joint, the all-wheel drive system on those cars, it just sends all the power to that tire. It just messes with the all-wheel drive system. So I just go, snap, roll forward, done.
Push me back.
Yep. All right. Well, this is a day. Time to haul her home. Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a whole different beast, right? You have to build the car obviously for the drag strip, but I just like having a fun street car that I can just cruise around in. And my goal on nitrous is like 1100 wheel, coming up like between 11 and 1200. But we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things that I say that, and then I'll be happy if it makes like over 1,000 boost only, but it'll probably be like more like 900-ish if I'm lucky. But at the same time, you get to the point of like, okay, who am I going to race now? It's like there's only a handful of people that'll run on the street at that power level. And then you get to the point where you don't have any races, and now you're too fast, and you race the same people. And
yeah, you get to those quadruple digits, and that gets sketchy on the road real fast.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with having such long strips. People get carried away.
Yeah.
That's one thing, about street racing is you're out there and people, they want to carry it up in those high numbers. Like, dude, I'm letting off at 120, 130.
Oh yeah. I mean, I personally, I'll go like 140, but that's like the top of my fourth gear. So I won't use my overdrive gears just cause I'm not going to blow my shit up again, and that's not cause that's what I did before. It's just, I know that can cause more issues if you start using your overdrive gears, right? I have no reason to go that fast. Like you get people who don't, like, some people have the gearing for that. They have the half mile cars, they push it to fifth gear and then they go to fucking 180, 190. Yeah. Dude, I ain't about that. I ain't trying to do that.
That's too fast. Like once you get up above like that 120, 130 mark, like brakes don't work as well anymore.
Yeah, and especially in our car, and it comes fast. Like it's in a few seconds, and it's pretty scary. And but that's what I love about the V though too. It's like I'm cruising in luxury though too. It's like it's so comfortable. The Recaros and everything. I got AC seats and all that jazz. But
yeah, my car, it's raw. It's got all solid mounts, solid subframe bushings, and you start that thing like this.
Feel every bump,
every bump.
But yeah, it's funny because too bad you weren't in that car when you ran into David Purcell in his CTSV. Right?
Oh,
you're in the SUV, and you still try to like.
I see this CTSV, and I'm getting off at my exit to go to the shop. He was running, so my shop's next to the E85 station in Marysville, so that's where he was heading.
Yeah,
and so it's a yield. Take a right off the freeway, and I go, and I see them just about to go, so I floor it. I have this X5 diesel that's all souped up, hybrid turbos.
So you modded it?
Yeah, so I have a modded X5 diesel. It only makes like 400 wheel horsepower.
It's still fun to fuck around with and all that.
I mean, it's still faster than a lot of cars around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it being diesel, the torque comes on pretty good.
Yeah.
It pulls at 5 seconds 0 to 60. Jeez. I've only done it once, which is pretty fast in a daily driver SUV.
Hell yeah.
And
diesel will last you forever.
Yeah. And so anyway, it rolls coal like a big truck. And all of a sudden I see this caddy. Whoa! It's like 120 and a 35.
You're just like, I did not see that coming.
I see El Gapo license plate.
Yep, that's David.
Yeah, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, I was not trying to race you, buddy.
You're like, I was just trying to get ahead of the traffic.
Yeah.
I know, because I texted, after you messaged me, I texted. I was like, he goes, yeah, some asshole's trying to like pass me or something. Like, he's very, like, David's a really cool guy, but he gets very like, he's very, what is the word I'm looking for? He's very competitive, obviously, right? So he's like, fuck this guy.
I'm not going to try and race a CTSV in my friggin'
well, I mean, if it was stock, you would have had a chance, right? If it was stock.
I wouldn't even race a stock CTSV.
Well, I mean, the X5 is pretty fast because what's his name? Francisco has one. He's modded his.
His is different. His is an X5M, so it's a twin turbo V8.
Oh, okay, gas, obviously, right?
Yeah, and mine's an inline 6 twin turbo diesel.
You guys should line up, man.
Yeah, so I think Dud MD, they run their diesel car at the events. So
yeah. He 535D, I think is what Dimitri has.
Yeah.
And that thing's freaking sweet, man. Like he rolls coal in that thing all the time. It's quick. I think he's ran it at the track too.
Yeah, they run a crap ton of nitrous through those motors.
Oh, really?
They're really awesome motors. I actually had a super rare 335D M Sport.
Oh, wow.
Only ever 600 of them in the country. Damn. And unfortunately, a tree fell on it. Oh, so, yeah.
Did you get good insurance payout, though, from it?
Oh, dude, I fought insurance to death on that one.
Because how rare it was and everything?
Yeah, they literally couldn't find a single sale in the country at that package over the last year. So they had to expand it years back. I ended up getting more than I paid for the car.
Okay, well, when was that? Like, how long ago?
Oh, that would have been about a year and a half ago. It was like around like December, we had some snow. So,
and I think
maybe like 2 years ago.
How long have you had the BMW now? Because I feel like it hasn't been that long, like 6 months or something.
So I've had my X5. Yeah, probably. I got it over the summer.
Because say when we did the first video, I don't think you were almost daily driving your Audi almost half the time. I think to work and
because I was fighting insurance. I ended up fighting insurance for almost 4 months.
Oh wow! So that was from the tree accident. Then you were kind of
tree falling on it.
Oh okay. And I know at that time you were still obviously going to work and because COVID and all that.
Yeah, and I got a Ford that I can drive too, but like I was driving my Audi and
it was a nice time. I mean, it's all-wheel drive, so really you could drive it whenever.
I mean, if it was raining, I just drove the Ford, but because those power and rain doesn't mix. I wouldn't even take the car out in the rain.
Yeah,
not unless I'm moving it from one garage bay to the other.
Yeah, not unless you have to, right?
Yeah, it's just it's too sketchy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's just not worth it at the same time. But I think that BMW is pretty sweet daily, though.
I like it. For a daily SUV, I average like 26 to 27 miles to the gallon in it. Mm-hmm. And it has decent.
Did you buy it stock?
I did. I bought it stock.
And you're like, I'm mod the fuck out of this.
So that's the thing is when the tree fell on my old Beamer, my 335D, which I absolutely love, such a fun car.
Oh, yeah.
It got really good mileage. I averaged like 32 to 34 in that.
Oh, wow.
And I had modified it and, full bolt-ons with the hybrid turbos and everything. And then when it died, it's like, okay, well, I bought the car back, obviously. Took all the parts off of it and then parted it out.
Okay.
So...
so you'd modded that one already?
Yeah. So, and everything bolts right over. except for
the
the
SUV.
downpipe, basically, and just modified that.
You're gonna make me want to get a diesel BMW for a daily now.
They're fun, and it's weird. You can get them for decent price. Around like the 12 to 15,000 with under 100,000 miles on them,
And they run a long time.
They do if you take care of them.
Okay, nice.
But if you don't take care of them, they don't. Just
So
like
do you
any
work
car.
on a lot of BMWs too then? Your shop?
Actually, I don't work on too many. I've been doing a little more lately.
Been doing some Mercedes obviously too, I think I've seen, right?
Yeah, it's been doing a lot of Mercedes. It's kind of strange actually. I think predominantly Mercedes are what I work on.
Okay.
I do a lot of custom exhausts and headers for those cars.
I love the AMG cars, man. Like that's the problem. I want everything though. Being a car guy, it's like I kind of want one of everything.
And like, I don't like take customers' cars to go out and romp on them. But after I build an exhaust, I'll drive them down the street and back. Make sure there's no rattles or anything. And
leaks
I always let the customer know. It's like, hey, I'm gonna drive the car up and down the street.
Yeah.
I got this hill basically. I listen for vibrations. I stop on the hill and take off because the lower RPMs you get, the more likely you're to hear a vibration or rattle.
Oh, okay.
Kind of lugs the engine a little bit. And so that's what I do. And I just take it. And I kind of get the feel of the cars. And there's something. I like the C63 AMGs. They're very, they're a lot stiffer and less like, I guess you'd say luxurious than I thought they'd be.
Yeah. What they say is like the C class is like the made in Mexico version versus like the E or S class, which is really nice and luxurious, like an S550 is like super luxurious and nice and comfortable. Some of them are even fast. I know like the E63s can be pretty fast. I always like the E55s, man. Those are nice cars too. Like the older, like 2004 ish.
Yeah. One of the cars I actually really liked, I did an exhaust system for an Audi RS6 and it's a twin turbo V8 and it's fully tuned and everything, and he literally got it tuned and drove it to my shop and dropped it off. And he's like, all right, it's tuned. Now do this stuff so I can make it fast.
Oh, sweet.
And so then when we're done, he let me take it for a spin. He is in the car.
Yeah.
And the car was pretty quiet. He wanted me to keep it mellow, but, flow. And God, it was so fast and it was so luxurious that it's like, God, this is dangerous. Like, how do you know you're actually going this fast?
Because I mean, a lot of those cars, made for like almost the Autobahn, right? To go fast and still be comfortable. Same with I used to own a 535 Xi BMW. It was a 2014, and like it wasn't fast, but I just never knew how fast I was going. It didn't feel like if I was doing 70 or 80. It just felt like I was just floating down the road. Yep. And they're nice, man.
Yeah, I like mine a lot. And just recently with the snow and everything, I got to try it out in the snow. Yeah. Literally, it was a Saturday. It snowed. I had to drive down here to Seattle.
Oh, that's right. Because I talked to you. You're like, I just had to fucking go all the way down to Seattle to drop off like a block or something or a transmission.
Transmission, yeah.
So is that they get built at like a shop or something?
No. So I just had a spare transmission and it was just taking up space in the shop. And I don't like holding on to things.
Yeah.
I hate clutter.
Yeah.
So I don't like crap laying around in my shop.
Oh, that's good though.
Right now, my shop, it almost looks empty because there's I cleaned it out. I think
you're one of the only shop owners that's probably like that.
Yeah. I don't want to be tripping over stuff. I like everything neat and put away.
Yeah.
And lots of room. But yeah, and so I got to drive in the snow. It did awesome. I really liked it. And I don't have snow tires by any means. I got 315s on the rear of that thing and 285s in the front. It's got some meat.
Did it still do pretty good though?
Yeah, it did. I was really happy with it.
Did you get a lot of snow at your house?
Actually, it's super weird. So typically where I live in Oso, we usually get more snow than anywhere else.
Yeah.
We got less than anywhere else.
Well, that's what I heard too, because I have friends out like Lake Stevens towards Granite and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we got like maybe a couple inches. Whereas like at my house in Everett, we got like fucking a foot of snow.
Yeah. So down in SeaTac, they had like 14 inches.
Yeah.
And so I was like, in the parking lot doing donuts and stuff. And so you could see where I was doing donuts was just black all over the snow.
Yep. This one is like my buddy, he pulled into a parking lot and he saw a cop just sitting there and he rolled over the cop. He goes, do you care if I do some donuts over there? The cop's like, do you want me to just leave? Like, you want to just do it? He just let my buddy just do donuts in the parking lot because there's nobody out on the roads. He's like, just careful, don't hit anything, because there's like posts and curbs and.
Yeah, cops tend to be pretty cool about that. It's when you're doing it in like the dry pavement.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, right, yeah, ruining up the pavement and all that.
It's like one thing if it's snow. Like everybody that has ever been a guy with a car has done a donut in the snow.
Oh, for sure.
If you don't, it's like, what are you even doing with your car?
Yep. I mean, unfortunately, that was the time my truck was in the shop from my little fender bender.
Oh yeah.
Because I know if I would have had it, I would have been out there just hooniging around everywhere in the D slide. Just would have been fucking over parking lots or whatever it was. Probably breaking it or doing something something that I shouldn't be doing, but it's still it's very easy to just get carried away with it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. So I had one of my, I warranty all of my work for a lifetime.
Oh, wow,
so
nice.
Exhaust I build is lifetime warranty. I had one of the guys that built my exhaust system for. He's like, yeah, so I have a rattle now. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I started rattling. I was like, exhaust systems started rattling a year after I built them. And he's
what have you been doing?
I was like, so I went out in the snow and I got high center. And I was like, okay, bring it in. Let me fix this. Get it straightened back out. I gave him a hard time though. It's like, dude, like you have 3 inches of clearance off your like static lowered Audi.
How'd you get out of your driveway?
Yeah, seriously. Anyways, he's basically plowing the streets with that thing.
For real.
Anyways, but yeah, we'll get him in the shop and get him straightened out. I'm sure he just bent the hangers or something.
Yeah. How far out are you booked typically? A couple months?
Usually it's about a month to 2 months. It depends.
Because I know like at first you were like a few months booked out. Like,
yeah, I know here in about a month when all the tax returns roll in, we'll probably be super busy.
Was that like one of your struggles too when you first started, was like figuring out how to like not pace yourself, but realize how much to bring in at one time and not overbook yourself and stuff like that?
So that was one of the hard parts is when I first started is I would get a lot of smaller jobs and it's like, you never really know what you're getting into unless you look at the car. And some of my clients, I have people drive from Oregon that bring Mercedes to my shop.
Oh, wow.
And so I have to be careful not to overbook myself because obviously if I have like one small job, I don't want to use my whole weekend for that.
Yeah.
And, make a couple $100, so that was a hard part is juggling small jobs. Luckily, now that my business has picked up, I typically turn away small jobs. Anything that's like 3 or 4 hours or less.
Yeah.
I try and avoid just because it's
like do one car in a whole weekend or something is kind of what you want to do.
That's usually what I do is I like to do a full exhaust system or something or full, intercooler system.
Yeah.
Aluminum goes a bit quicker, but I like to take my time. I don't like being rushed. I'm a very perfectionist and I did. Part of it's like that's like my art work.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy doing.
You take pride in it, which is good too. Cause like I feel like a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of shops, but some shops definitely do like a turn and burn type deal where they do just like basic stuff and they don't put as much attention to detail in it. And then those cars end up coming back or whatever issues they may run into. But it's one of those things that it's good to definitely take pride in your work, which is funny because I kind of vaguely remember you're like, when we talked about it before, it's like, I don't want to work in anybody else's car. And now you're to the point of like, dude, like you have a fucking well-built shop and it's doing well, and which is awesome. I mean, do you expect to like do that full time at some point or hire anybody?
Yeah, so I get asked that a lot about doing it full time. And I honestly don't think I'll ever go full time with it. There's a few things. One, it's like all this talk about electric cars scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And I have a great gig going right now. I just got my professional engineering license.
Oh, nice.
So, I'm set up to stay in the field that I am.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't ever have to be more than a weekend gig.
Yep.
And probably like 10 years from now, I'll probably have children. And I think the idea is to have eventually guys working in the shop and have it be something that doesn't overwhelm me and I'm not relying on for an income because I don't want to take the enjoyment out of it for me.
Get it to a point where it kind of like automates itself almost and you can jump in and out whenever you want or whatever.
Like I want to come in and build some stuff and we do a lot of like aftermarket part installation. And then I think it'd be awesome if I could just completely get out of that and have guys that did that for me.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just do only custom work yourself or something.
Yeah, I do that, just because I have so many requests for it. Not everybody wants to have something custom.
Yeah.
But a lot of people look for have stuff installed. So totally fine with that. But yeah, I would like to just do mostly custom work, custom fabrication. I love welding. I've been doing it for a while now and I consider the quality of my welds pretty high. And so, it's just, I like the look on people's face when they see what I built.
Yeah. I mean, we got to still do the turbo build on the V.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth because like I could probably sell like the blower and nitrous and a lot of that stuff to fund the parts, all the parts and everything for it. But it's just like I'm not like you in the car world when it comes to like, I like to know what I'm getting myself into, but when it comes to custom builds like that, it's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to end up. And the Vs don't have a lot of room in them. Like the CTS Vs to put like, I'm not a huge fan on that platform of like doing the turbos underneath the motor, like the mid mount or whatever. I want like one like in the corner and then just like a single turbo,
Yeah. That's one of the difficult things, a lot of platforms. if I was to go back, I definitely would not choose the platform I have, but I'm already so invested that I just keep rolling with it. And
do you feel like you ever want to build something else for yourself, like another car?
My next build is going to be a old Camaro.
Oh, nice.
Do an LS swap into a 67 Camaro.
Okay.
My dad and I have a old rolling chassis from the 67 SSRS.
Okay.
And we'd really like to build that. Not do anything crazy. My dad wants, 8 million horsepower, but
yeah.
It's like, let's just get the car driving first.
Yeah. One step at a time.
I think it'd be cool to have just a cruiser.
Classic.
For the street, it's one thing I was going to say to you is a lot of people, they always bite off more than they can chew. So you don't need, if you're not racing, like, why do you need 1,000 horsepower?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people wanted me to build them custom kits for the Audis all the time. And, part of me was just like, dude, I'm gonna be honest, like, you don't need this.
Yeah.
Like, do the bolt-on kits that everybody buys. Like, they're proven.
Yeah.
And they think they need 800 wheel horsepower. And it's like, have you ever even ridden in an 800 horsepower car?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah. I mean, it gets to the point where some of them can be almost undrivable or unenjoyable too, because it's nice to have a car you just jump in and cruise to the store, go run your errands in. And I think that comes with like technology nowadays, just in cars, like crazy, because some of these cars are coming out so fast right out of the factory already,
And that's the thing. It's like, where are you going to use, like 600 wheel horsepower in your average rear wheel drive car? That's more than enough to kill you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Easily.
If you don't know what you're doing, you can lose control so easy at that.
Especially the Mustangs, right? Those GT500s and Coyotes.
Kill you and other people.
Take out the whole crowd.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And they do that at stock. They don't even need any power.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people just bite off more than they can chew. And, I think people should just ride in other cars, get an idea before they I want to go with these crazy builds.
But at the same time, I mean, if they want to pay, you know what I mean?
I always tell people, are like, well, can you do this? And I was like, how big's your wallet, man? I can do anything you want.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not, it's a sticker shock of a lot of stuff too. I mean, same thing with like photo or video, people like, oh, I wanted the video made. And then they get the price and they're just like, well, my buddy will do it. Well, for this one, well, then go to your buddy, man.
Yeah. And so I guess we can get into the business conversation. So one of my biggest lessons I learned is just don't ever sell yourself short. People will always ask for deals and discounts.
Yep.
And the thing is you're selling a product, and if people are coming to you, it's because they want it. And the product that I sell is nothing somebody needs.
Yeah. It's a luxury item almost.
It is. Right? It's something you can completely live without. You don't need an aftermarket exhaust system on your Corvette. And so don't ever sell yourself short is one of the big lessons I learned. Always stick to your guns, and your prices are your prices.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Like a typical exhaust system, like if I had someone come in with like your CTSV, someone wanted something from, they had headers on it, and from their back, it's going to be $2,200, $2,400.
Yeah.
There's, materials are expensive now, really expensive. Yep. And, I'm looking like the titanium system on R8, which is, R8 has a very short exhaust system. I spent $2,500 on titanium. Jeez. And that's materials just for the fabrication supplies. That doesn't include my shop materials or labor. So, stuff's not cheap. That's the way it is.
Yep.
And, so don't ever sell yourself short. Just stick to your guns. Your product is your product. Don't give discounts.
Yeah.
I had friends that have asked me, he's like, oh, well, what if I buy materials and you do it? And it's like, dude, I can't keep my business open giving all my friends exhaust systems.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I have friends with businesses, and, I had talked to her about this. So she's an esthetician. So I was helping her out, and she was waxing my chest and stomach. Anyways. And she's like, oh no, you don't have to pay me that much. No, I'm going to pay you your full price. Friends aren't going to take advantage of friends. This is just the way it is. And so, you help out your friends because you really care about them. You're going to support their business.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of discounts.
Especially opposed to the big companies or mainstream who have plenty of money. It's like supporting your friend's business over the mom or the Pep Boys or shit like that, which is a good thing. I mean, what else have you learned being a business owner?
People can be frustrating to deal with.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. And, I've only had one bad experience with someone. They were unhappy with the work I did. And I'm not sure what they expected. It sounded the way they wanted, but I think they were just upset with how much it cost. But it's like, why are you upset after I hit the bid that I gave you?
Yeah.
And, it's, I think that's what it was. And they had put a bad review on my Facebook. And Facebook actually took it down because I ended up talking to someone from Facebook about it. And yeah, no, you end up dealing with some people. It's going to be, not very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like that with any business you run. There's going to be people that they're bullies, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. And they're never going to be happy with, no matter what you give them, short of being free or something, they're still like never going to be happy, And that's the thing too, is you just, like you said, like knowing your worth. And I know when I first started, like obviously it's a different business, but I started I was working cheaper just for earning that network, because it wasn't to the point of like you already had like a product proven, like your own car, right? So you could charge more right off the bat. Whereas me is like I was showcasing my work, building portfolio, all that type of stuff, and then get to the point where you almost even start throwing out numbers that, for me at least, like I throw out numbers for commercial products, and I'd be like, well, I'm just going to throw it out there, and then you get a company goes, sure, yeah, no problem. You're just like, what? Oh, okay, sweet. Like, I'll take it. Like big companies or things like that, which is always like a good feeling because it shows that your work is worth it, and it brings it into every other aspect of your business or company too,
Yeah. And, there's other shops that do what I do in the area. There's some really, really awesome shops like Rampage. It's a great one. But, their work shows and their prices show for it. And, when people say I'm expensive, it's like, okay, well, go take it to Rampage. They won't even look at your car actually because it's not a GTR.
Yeah. It's not at the same level.
Yeah. But their work is immaculate.
Oh yeah.
Something, any fabrication, someone in the field of fabrication would aspire to produce.
And I think that's the thing too, is like, I don't know if you're planning to get into that point of like you focus on a certain niche of cars, or do you want to do like any type of car?
One of the reasons I like sticking with the German platform is because I have to deal with less of the sticker shock, because anything aftermarket for these cars is super expensive. Like R8 systems that I build, I don't charge rich people tax. I don't charge someone more because they have more money. My rates stay the same no matter what.
Yeah.
And so when I get these like R8s in, they're like, oh my God, you're so cheap. What's wrong with the product?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing wrong with the product. I'm going to charge you the same amount I would charge someone with their Miata.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the way it is. Like, I'm not in this to like rip people off and take advantage of anybody.
You did like what is that really nice Mercedes that you did?
Oh, I did. So I had an AMG GTR black in my shop.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Which, if anybody knows Mercedes, is very, very rare.
So that's like a $250,000 car or something like that, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So he came in and we did some exhaust work and had aftermarket downpipes installed, which is not a fun job on those cars. Transmission comes out.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a lot of labor, it seems like.
It is. And, he was one of my first customers actually in my shop when I moved in, and kind of blew up my Mercedes page or
following.
Yeah. And
because if you work on a car like that, man, like you work on anything at Mercedes,
And so, I just charged him when I charge everybody else. My rates did go up when I moved in the shop. Obviously, now I have expenses.
Your costs, for sure.
But I still think they're very competitive. A car like that, like you're not going to find an AMG GTR exhaust system on the internet for less than $4,000. Is it a local car? It is. He's Seattle owned.
Okay, cool.
I lives in Seattle, and so a lot of these guys, they're Audis that come in for exhaust systems, custom exhaust systems. They don't hit sticker shock, doesn't hit them because stuff's already expensive. You bring someone in with a Subaru, where the highest end Cobb system's $1,000, and I quote them, $2,000 for an exhaust system. And they're like, no way. And I was like, okay.
Like, I barely afford the payment on this fucking thing.
Yeah. It's like, you're the one that spent $50,000 on 300 horsepower, not me.
Yeah, and it's going to blow up any moment now.
Yeah.
Subaru life. Everybody loves a Subaru.
I used to actually, so when I was at college, I ran the car club over at Wazoo.
Yeah.
And I used to have a German plate on the front of my car called Subi Killer, because I would race all the Subarus back in college. And, we were all slow back then.
Oh, for sure. I mean, what did your car make then? Like 400?
330 wheel.
Yeah, just
but
like
that was more than 300 than the Subarus made. So,
well, I mean, not all Subaru owners are bad, but a lot of them think that their car is the fastest thing in the world.
Yeah. So actually, one of my best friends and my coworker, Ryan, he's a Subaru guy. He had an RS, one of the old 2.5 RSs.
Oh, yeah.
And then he has an STI as well with super low miles. He's the original owner. Him and I get along great. We're both engineers. We work together. And, but then, there are a lot of Subaru owners that can be pretty hard to get along with.
Yeah.
I think it's that's a car a lot of people get when they first get into cars.
Yeah.
And,
And it's not even like, it's almost like they just don't know better, and it's not even anything against them or anything like that. It's just they just don't know, right? Yeah. What you don't know, you don't know. So you don't know that they have notorious issues for blowing up if you start pushing them hard. Yeah. And the design of the motors aren't the greatest, and it depends what you want to use it for. But
dude, what are you talking about? The rocket ships. Fuck. Yeah, there's a reason. Like, when's the last time you saw a Subaru at any events that we go to?
Not many. There's been a couple, but they don't last many. They don't last very long.
Yeah, and they're not up there with the big boys.
It's similar to the Evo jokes where they get like 10 poles and you never know which one's going to be the one to blow it up.
Definitely more Evos.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised by how many Mustangs there are. Like, I think they're probably the most predominant car right now.
Well,
5.0s.
Dude, I mean, I've even considered buying like an 18 up Coyote because the A10 plus with those, people are running stock motor, stock trains on the 8s and even 9-second cars in the quarter mile, right? Those automatic 10s are just insane in those cars. But it's still a Mustang. And so I go back and forth because it's like, damn, it does work, but I'm going to get roasted, but it is fast. So it's like, and they do look good. A lot of them can look good. I like the 13, 14 GT500s. Mm-hmm. I'm just, it's that Chevy versus Ford battle. So I'm on Team Chevy right now.
Yeah, I'm a Chevy guy. I grew up, my dad was a drag racer and everything was Chevy. It was all about the bow tie. And Ford was the worst enemy. I don't know how many acronyms for Ford I heard.
Oh, for real. It's just but I'm the type is like anything fast is going to be cool to me, especially if it's custom or things like that too. But yeah, it goes back to just no replacement for displacement at the same time. Yeah. It's easier to make power when you have a lot more displacement, and it's just less wear and tear almost than on like a smaller motor. Yeah,
if you have twice as amount of cylinders, it's just going to be easier on the car.
Yeah. So I really like the RS7s, like the Audi RS7s, just the look of them. Like they just look so sick. And I know like a couple of them have been the event, so they're actually like 700-800 wheel.
Yeah. Those cars. They get their own stock motors, and 700 wheels more than achievable with the stock turbos on that car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Full bolt-ons. Like the RS6 I told you went for ride-in. Mm-hmm. He should have been around 700 wheel on E85.
And like that all-wheel drive, just puts it to the floor. And what do they weigh? Do they weigh a lot?
They're a little heavier, probably around, I think the RS7's probably low 4s.
And that's probably why it hooks up so well, because like all that weight can just plant it on all four tires.
So
that's your next daily, man.
Yeah, actually I was thinking about that. Like what working from home, I don't drive as much. Originally I bought the D because I used to work downtown Seattle. I commute from Oso to downtown Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm located in Mukilteo and mostly work from home.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about changing dailies. Actually thinking about getting one of the X5Ms.
Dude, I know. You can do it. It seems like you can do a lot with them, Well,
they're very capable cars.
You should put Apex right on the side.
Yeah.
Your logo and everything all around it and all that, brand it, put something on your Audi.
Yeah. So I'm going to get a nice decal for the Audi.
Okay. Nice.
Show it off at the events. And yeah, I'm super excited for the events this summer. Go out and race. And
hopefully I don't know how many events are actually like scheduled yet for the Northwest Nights events, but hopefully it's a couple of them because they're fun to go to. They, they do a great job. Make sure you get signed up that way, doesn't fill up, but usually like they can hook it up if it gets too full, or they'll push a little bit more.
Yeah. I think I already bought my ticket for the first event.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't even know if there's registration up yet or not.
I can't remember. I know there's I don't know if I bought my ticket or not. I remember seeing the event date was set.
Yeah. I think they have a day set. But I need to look more into it. I think it's like September or something, which it is nice that it starts getting to that risky part of the year of like weather. Like you just don't know. I like the July is like perfect, or June, July, but sometimes they just can't do it, or the track, or for whatever reason, it's majority out of their control, which is fine too. I'm just excited for the race season and to start doing car shit again.
Yeah. All I do is just work on other people's cars right now. It's like even like yesterday and probably today I'm going to go work on my own car.
When does your block show up?
Should be here at the end of March.
Okay, nice. And then that's when it's go time. So right now,
that'll be kind of like time to hustle, get the block assembled. And
so are you just kind of like trying to fit everything right now, like the whole compound turbo setup? Like, have you actually fitted anything yet? To see if it works?
Right now the process that I'm in is, so my engine bay had to be modified. I removed the false firewall, and so I need to have the engine bay resprayed. And then finish the intercooler system. So I ended up going with a custom intercooler and custom radiator. So it's a little different. I think the only thing I'm really worried about as far as like, I'm not worried about fitment or anything. That's pretty much all dialed in. The only thing I'm worried about is the radiator I went with, if it's going to be enough to cool the car for street use.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a 6-inch core, 6-inch thick by 9 inches tall by 24 inches wide. CSF makes it. And so good company, make good radiators. But we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's going to be something that'd be good for sitting in traffic, but yeah. I mean, I don't really sit in traffic in my car.
Yeah. So you don't really even get much traffic up in Arlington where you live.
No.
So,
and I wouldn't be going anywhere where I'd be sitting in traffic. Even like the events, I tow my car to them.
Oh yeah. And it's not worth it. I mean, well, you need your own truck and trailer soon, man. You're getting big and be traveling the country.
Yeah, well, my dad has the same truck as you, so he likes going to all events with me.
Oh, that's true. So, I mean, it's nice to have a good support system too, you know?
And, he likes to go. And
I know I need to do the Cp3 on mine eventually. But it's like, it sucks because like the failure rate's not very high. It's like 5%, but it still makes me super paranoid to just like drive my truck. I'm like, it's going to fucking break. It's going to blow up.
Yeah, my dad just got the upgraded turbo for his truck.
Did he do it at the same time, or he just got that?
He just got that. And we need to get that put in.
Oh, nice.
He's basically going to be at the limit of the transmission now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's, I mean, is it a much bigger turbo? Is it just like upgraded or?
Oh, I think it's only like, the idea behind it is like the stock housing, but it's like 4 millimeters bigger.
Oh,
which when you get to those size turbos on those trucks, like 4 millimeters is a lot. Like,
for sure.
I think, I think he is that like a 88 millimeter or something? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
But when you're in like those like 70 and above, you jump up 4 millimeters. That's a couple hundred horsepower.
Yeah. Well, you did the whole like Cp3 conversion for them and stuff too, like all the work and whatnot. Was that tough to do?
No. I think my least favorite thing on those trucks is when we did the downpipe and exhaust system. That downpipe is a tough squeeze. It is not fun. And then when we were doing the exhaust system, we get the old exhaust system out without cutting it into pieces. We had to remove the torsion bars. And oh my God, I beat on these torsion bars. I gave them heat.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get them out until, they soaked in PB Blaster. They got lots of heat. And next thing you know, I went and rented an air hammer.
Oh shit.
And pounded this thing out with an air hammer. And just like my elbows were like aching. Like I had arthritis.
So did his fail, or what made him want to just do the CP3 conversion just because of all the reading up and everything?
Yeah. He just wanted to kind of bulletproof the truck.
I know I need to do mine, but like I already have it. It's already tuned, deleted. It's already got the exhaust, all that stuff. So it's literally just the CP3 and a retune. Now it all needs to be done, but I have like the shift on the fly thing. So it's got like 5 different settings.
Yeah, that's what he has.
Did you guys just do everything all at once then?
Yeah, we did everything all at once.
Because because that was my only like concern, I think, was like when I retune it, can I still get 5 different settings? It just changes like some fueling, I guess.
I think we did pretty much everything. Then we ended up doing the lift pump.
Yeah.
And was down the road a little bit. And then some charge piping that we hadn't touched yet. Just because there's time limit. But we got back and got that all taken care of. So
nice. Well, I mean, runs good. I mean, I love my truck. I'm sure he loves his.
Oh yeah, that's his baby.
How many miles does he have on his?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I think he bought it with like 30,000. It's probably upwards of like 60 now.
Okay, nice.
He's had it for a couple of years.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely nice just to have, but you're gonna need like an enclosed when you start traveling all these events.
I know. I have a tilt trailer. Well, my dad has a tilt trailer. I'm gonna say I have one.
Yeah.
And so we use that, and although I can tow with my BMW.
Oh.
It's set up on, I think it's 5,600 pounds tow capacity.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, I could hook the trailer up to my Beamer. But Dad.
No reason to.
My dad and I we like to go to the race events and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Which I mean, especially as you get bigger, like you start going to like Cali or like these other half-mile events. I think it'd be really fun if you set up your car. I think your biggest limitation may be your gearing or something, like to run it that fast for that long, because I mean you can get up there pretty quickly. I mean your car I'm sure will do probably like 170, 180 ish.
Yeah, I'm thinking after this setup we'll see where it's at, but if I start doing half-mile events, I think a parachute's probably in the works.
Oh yeah, you definitely need that. I don't know, like, and your car is like the 1-to-1 gearing, like a 4th gear in the trans, so like what is 5th and like 5th gear?
So typically the gearing is like 60s the end of 2nd, 120 is the end of, or I think it's 95 is the end of 3rd, 125 is the end of 4th. The end of 5th is upwards like 150, 160.
Yeah. And do you go into fifth? Will you use overdrive?
I do, and then I actually have 6th gear too. I never go into 6th gear.
Yeah.
I think I hit the end of 5th gear on one run at my last NWN, and it was like 165.
Oh, okay.
Like right around there.
Yeah. I really fucking felt like it was moving in that car.
Yeah. So one of the things I noticed is you get to the end of that track, and one of the sides has a bump on it.
The left side.
And the car, like you go on that speed, it does this, and you hit, and that air from going so fast underneath the car it floats. It doesn't just drop down. It's not like stiff anymore. So I hit this, and this thing went. I was like, oh, that was a clencher.
Yeah, because one of the guys, I don't know if it was worse where he like hit it just in a weird spot or his suspension totally unloaded and he slammed down and he cracked the oil pan on his car. And I mean, that was a few years ago, so it could be different now. I don't know if it was fixed or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just shit can happen sometimes, right? You know, and fucking sucks.
My last race at that event was actually, I couldn't get anybody to race me, and I went up against a street bike. I was there with an extended swing arm and everything. And it's actually, I started pulling on him, creeping up on him. And when I hit 4th gear, unfortunately, I have a video of it. My clutch was at the end of its life that day.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the reason my car was smoking is my clutch was dead.
It's dead, yeah.
Yeah.
And it totally like just let go.
Not totally. But you know, like my GoPro video in cam, you can see when I take off, when I shift into 3rd, RPMs fly up, and you can't hear it. All you can hear is a bike. But then you see them bounce back down where I let off the throttle, let it regrab, and then take off again. But yeah, it was a pretty close race on the bike. And I mean, it's not just a leader bike. This is actually a drag bike.
Oh, for sure.
So it was pretty fun to go out and race a bike.
Did you lose any cars?
No. So I mean, Fernie may disagree, but you know, I raced that 1,000 horsepower, Challenger with the radials on it or the drag slicks on it. And things are like 12 inches wide. They stick out the car like 3 inches. That was like a dead tie race.
Oh, nice.
So that was a really good race, and I look forward to seeing him there next year.
Yeah. He was hot lapping the shit out of that car, if I remember. I mean, it's fast. I don't know if it's got nitrous on it too, or if that's how he makes the power.
It does have nitrous. I don't think he was running it that day. I'm not sure. But there was one point.
I wasn't expecting your car to be that fast.
There was a point in time when suddenly the car sounded different going down the track. I was wondering if he kicked in the nitrous.
You just hear wee, wee.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. Where it's going. It's like we're in like 3rd gear, and his car's like, oh. I was like, what the hell? I got like watched the video like 10 times, scrolling back, and my dad's like, nitrous.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, I've heard it many times in like the street videos, right? Like somebody's like, it's a tie, they're just like, but you just hit high gear. Like that's just a whole like another kit on that car. So, but no, thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been an hour and a half already.
Dang. Time flew.
I know, right? Well, I mean, talk about cars, man. I can talk about cars all day long. So, if anybody's even still here, like listening to this at this point, but thank you. So, let people know where they can follow you.
Yeah. So, I have a few pages. You can just Facebook me, Apex Performance and Fabrication. It's the same thing, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
So, you can follow those. If you like seeing weld porn, go ahead and check it out.
We're going to have to do the follow-up video on your car when it's done.
Yeah. It'll be cool to do a follow-up video. It's definitely going to be a unique build. It'll be fun. Try and take my time with it, make it look nice this time, and have something.
And then go beat the shit out of it.
Yeah,
we all did.
Then we'll just break it again
and build it, race, repeat.
Yep.
So sweet. All right, thanks, man.
Yep.